The food safety piece is very important, especially in today's food world. The buyer now, the common consumer out there, it's a high priority. If you look at any market research, food safety is now climbing the ladder as a priority. So understanding, what is the best way to manage that crop so you're upholding food safety, criteria, and you're mitigating anything. A lot of growers are starting to realize that for them to get to that consumer in a more effective way, they're going to do some kind of packaging or handling before they get there. There's not a lot of markets out there now that just want that raw commodity, especially if you're looking at local markets. They want it washed, or they might want it chopped, or they might want it packaged. So the minute you start putting those steps in, you want to deeply understand what the food safety criteria is for those steps and what are the efficient ways of doing it. Because every time you do something like that, you're adding a labor component to handling that fruit or that produce. And so you want to make sure you're understanding your pricing, you're understanding your costs. So when you do go to that end market, whether it's a direct consumer or it's a wholesale market, you are getting what you need to be successful on your farm.
Food safety, in a nutshell, is basically reducing ways that contamination comes into your produce. And that starts even before you're planting your crop with soil amendments. So thinking about what you're putting into your field, and then even what you're putting into your planting trays before your season really even begins outside. And then it goes through your harvest, how your containers are handled, how your containers are washed and sanitized. And then your irrigation water that you're watering your crops with is really important. Some of the recent outbreaks we've seen have been from water, whether that's irrigation water or water in a packing area. And then when you're bringing your produce inside the packing area, how you're handling packaging, how you're handling washing and cleaning and sanitizing those areas is really important as far as reducing anything that might be contaminated, and so you're not spreading that among your crops. So really all the way from before you're planting through harvest and through delivery, you want to consider food safety. Food safety should really start when you're planning your business, before you even start to think about how you're doing your buildings and your fields. If that's not possible, if you're already operating, that's totally fine. But just thinking about day-to-day what you're going to do to bring in food safety. And once you have a plan in place, whether that means a written food safety plan or just changing some of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, you really want to continue that on an annual basis and even maybe monthly, doing reviews, really checking in with that system to see if it's working. And there are different steps you can take for that, but making sure it's not just something you do once and then sort of forget about, and that it's something that you keep in mind for yourself, for your employees, and anyone else that's on the farm. And then as far as the risk factors you want to manage for on your farm, you're looking at physical, biological, and chemical factors that are going to impact your produce. And some of the produce is going to be more susceptible, like leafy greens. You really want to be mindful of how you're treating those. Some crops are going to be cooked, and you can assume that those are less risk, but you really want to have a comprehensive plan for everything that you're growing. So some of the resources for farmers include the USDA and the FDA websites. Those can be a little bit hard to navigate. So other agencies and nonprofits have helped sort of break those down for farms. So National Center for Appropriate Technologies has really great food safety resources. The National Sustainable Agriculture Coalition has great food safety resources. And then of course, local extension agents, they're always going to be a resource that can be tapped into. Most states, including Montana, have a food safety specialist at the Montana Department of Ag. So they're someone that can be contacted with any questions, and they can at least point you in the right direction, if nothing else.